Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is the NC State Prague information session. We may have a few folks coming in still, but we can just go ahead and get started. We'll introduce ourselves in a minute here, but just before we do, just a couple quick housekeeping rules you're probably well acquainted with by now with Zoom. If you could just keep yourself muted if you're not talking. And also, we're going to basically cover some information about our center, some general info about NC State Prague with a specific focus on spring 2024. And then at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A for questions from you guys, which we're happy to field. So if you could just wait for that section, just hold your questions to the end, that'd be great so we can get through our part. All right, so today we're recording, and so we're going to share this out with anyone who's registered. So if you have to leave early, that's fine. You'll get the information later on. So this is the information session, as you can see there. We are, again, focusing on spring. And so the spring application opening is coming up soon, which we'll talk about towards the end. We want to just kind of introduce you in general to the facilities on site in Prague, but also give you a chance to meet some of our staff in Prague who are on this call, and also to hear from previous participants. We have some former students who participated in our Prague programs on this call as well. All right. So with that, get us started here, and we'll kick it off with introductions. Kim, if you want to start.
Hi, I'm Kim Strudowski. I'm the director of the NC State European Center, and I'm located here in Prague. I've been with NC State since 2019, but working to study abroad and living in the Czech Republic since 2004.
And I'm Alex Wessner. I'm the assistant director. I'm located here on campus in Raleigh. And I've been with NC State since 2013, and with NC State Prague since 2019.
Hi, my name is Marie Salavara. I've been with NC State Prague since last summer, and my role here in Prague is the Student Affairs and Program Coordinator, and I take care mainly of the classic students.
Hi, everyone. My name is Martina. I've been with NC State only for 2 semesters, but I've been working in study abroad since 2018. And I take care of the Global Leadership Minor program.
And we have some students with us here today as well. So we'll just let the students introduce themselves, but you will definitely hear more from them later about the classes that they took and the experiences they had. So students, if you could just give a quick introduction in the order that we see you on the screen, that would be awesome.
Hello, I'm Tyra. I'm a junior at NC State, and my major is in English and my minor is in women and gender. I was in Prague in fall 2022, and it was a great experience.
Hello, excuse me. I'm Emma Flowers. I'm a 4th year English major, and Tyra and I studied abroad in Prague together. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
And hello, everyone. My name is Noah Scott. I am a senior majoring in business administration with a concentration in finance. And I was a part of the GLM, the Global Leadership Minor. And I just got back a couple weeks ago. So yeah, real excited to talk about it with you guys.
Sorry, I was muted as usual. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit about do a quick overview of NC State. So as you know, we have a university-wide center. We're a branch of NC State located here in Prague, Czech Republic. So we're the only permanent overseas facility, and we're primarily a study abroad location for NC State students. We started in 2005, originally from the College of Design, but in 2017, we moved over to the university generally, and now we're under the Office of Global Engagement. Currently, we have over 200 students a year. We weren't at that number under COVID, but now we are back to over 200 students per year. And we have a robust staff here to take care of you. We have Alex in Raleigh, and we have around 10 staff members in Prague that work with you on the programming and help you with the classes. And then we have over 20 Czech faculty members who are teaching your courses. So this is just an overview of the programs that we have, of the classic programs. In fall or spring, we offer normal semester credits. It's about all students take 12 credits and it's around 15 weeks. During the semester, you get a full roster of NC State courses that they just directly, there's no transferring, they're just NC State courses in Prague. Included is an on-site orientation. Excursions are also part of the cost, so these are all within the price. We also do a lot of activities that are around the classes, like we do a lot of cultural events, cooking classes, and all of these things for you. And again, as I mentioned before, we have on-site staff here to support you and European faculty teaching all of the classes. And we do try to keep a smaller class size. So we have around maximum of 12 to 15 students per class. And if you're interested in looking at all the classes that we offer, you could just take a look at our website and we have the listing of all the classes for you to see so you can see if they apply to you. But the classes they meet for the classic program, Monday through Thursday only. Sometimes we do have Fridays set aside for excursions or makeup days because sometimes there are Czech holidays that we have to make up classes to make sure we have enough credit hours. And most of our courses fulfill GEPs, and then we have some specialized courses. So we have humanities, natural sciences, social sciences, global knowledges, a lot of college of design courses still, and visual and performing arts. Again, you can take a look at our course catalog online as well.
Next, if we have a look at the program activities and what you can actually look forward to if you decide to come to Prague, there's a lot going on throughout the whole semester. We always start with the NC State Prague orientation. So we show you the center, so you know where you will have classes. We also have a presentation on public transportation system, so you will also get to know Prague a bit. And we offer city tours as well, so you get to know your new hometown. Also, the semester-long classic programs have a Czech language and culture immersion crash course in the beginning of their stay, which is held at Charles University, which is the biggest Czech university, and also our partner university. As Kim already mentioned, during the semester, there's a lot of things going on. There's something for everyone, I would say. Every week we have cooking classes. So you can try and cook and eat some traditional Czech dishes. We also offer a lot of cultural events of all kinds, mainly operas, ballets, concerts, very often. So really, there's something for everyone. And also we have excursions either within the Czech Republic or outside the Czech Republic for those who are staying for the whole semester. Within the Czech Republic, we go to Český Krumlov, which is a very beautiful city. It's part of the UNESCO heritage. Our students can maybe talk about that later a bit more. And in the summer, we go rafting. In the winter, we have some winter activities. And when it comes to the outside of the country excursions, we just came back with Martina actually from Poland. So really, there's a lot going on. When it comes to housing, here you can see our main student residence, which is Zeitraum, located not far from the NC State Prague Center. We offer mostly double rooms. Single rooms are also offered upon request and upon payment. The rooms are fully furnished and bedding is included. There are shared kitchens on the floors, on each floor. And kitchen supplies are also included. This also involves Wi-Fi, of course, and laundry services, which means the washing machines and dryers are also available. And these are used upon pay-per use. There's also 24/7 staff and security available. And we would just like to mention a few highlights of the location, which is that we have local Czech roommates who provide initial support. So whenever you need any help, they're there to help you as well. One of the main highlights of our location is that they're close to tram stops, grocery stores, and restaurants. And specifically, Zeitraum is located very close to the main train station, so it's very easy to travel. And all of them are modern and newly furnished. Just to have a look a bit at the cost breakdown and what the package actually involves. So you have now heard about how the program looks like and how it works. And here you can see the split of what is actually included in the cost breakdown. As mentioned, it's tuition fees, health insurance in Europe, accommodations, as well as all those excursion, culture events, staff support on site, orientation materials, emergency phone 24/7, Wi-Fi, and also the in-city travel pass, which you're gonna get at the beginning of your stay, as it's very easy, very convenient to travel around Prague using the tram and public transportation system. What is not included is international airfare, so you can book your flights independently. We do not do any group bookings, and you also need to take into consideration meals. But we do have kitchens here as in the center, as well as in the student residences. So many students can cook, or they cook daily. Sometimes they go eat out, or they also have a chance to go to Charles University dining halls and try out the local dorms. You also need to take into consideration school supplies, as well as some personal expenses like travel expenses and others. And also, if you need to get a new passport, you need to count with the passport fee. And if you're coming for the whole semester, then also the visa fee.
Okay, and now for something a little bit different. So I'm supposed to tell you a little bit more about Global Leadership Minor, which to some extent it overlaps and is similar to the classic program, but to some extent it has its specifics. The biggest one probably is that it's shorter. So you would come for 10 weeks and got a minor out of your participation in this program. The other big difference is that it's really intense and intensive. So you are not able to choose your courses. They are already chosen for you if you join the program. You don't need visas. The advantage is that you will have your home base in Prague, but you'll actually travel to two other European countries to study at local universities and meet with local students and work on a project with them. You will, as I said, travel around Europe, and or in the program fee, the travel cost to those locations is covered. I mentioned the courses. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. So for next year, there will be 2 tracks. So it depends on which courses are you interested in taking. That will affect which countries you will visit. So the whole group will start and finish in Prague, but then one track will go to Austria and UK in the middle for a month. And then the other track will travel to Germany and France. What's different from a classic program is that since it's so intensive and intense, and you will get a minor, there are classes meeting also on Friday. The program travel in between the different locations often happens on the weekend. So your time for independent travels is kind of limited, but it's still doable. I'm sure Noah can tell you more about that later. As for the other program activities, since you'll be on the way for a third of the program, basically, you won't have a chance to join opera or cooking classes in Prague. But you'll visit other places in the locations where you'll travel to, and also at the beginning and at the end, we will plan things for you to do in Prague as well. So you will also go to Český Krumlov, but then when you are on the road, you will do things with local students from Germany or Nice, and they'll plan things for you. When it comes to housing, that's maybe the biggest difference from the classic program. As I mentioned, your home base will be in Prague, so you'll start your semester there and you'll come back to Prague at the end of the program. But during the program travel, you will be staying in hotels. So it doesn't matter if you go to Germany or Austria. We will be staying in hotels, which is great because you'll have access to buffet breakfast, but it can be a little challenging when it comes to doing your laundry or even the cost of your meals and kind of planning for your meals. So yeah, you have to keep that in mind when joining this program. And speaking of meals and the cost of the program, it's similar to the classic one, but GLM also covers the program travel. So if we need to take a bus or a train or even a plane to get to UK, that's covered in your program fee. And you will be provided the in-city travel passes, not just for Prague, but also for all the locations that we travel to. As mentioned, international kind of getting to and from Prague is not part of the program fee. So it's not the meals and kind of your free time activities and independent travel. This program, since it's just 10 weeks, is visa free, so you don't need to apply for visa and pay those fees.
Okay, and now it's time for the student panel. So we're happy to have our 3 alumni here with us. And we would like to ask you some questions and share your experience studying abroad at NC State Prague. Maybe I would start with Tyra and Emma, since you're both classic students. You were here last fall, so you went back home in December. So your experience is also still very fresh, I would say. Although Noah, you finished just a few weeks ago. If you could tell us maybe a bit about the classes, what was your favorite class, and also some of the optional activities, if you attended any, and what was your favorite?
Yeah, so my favorite class personally was the fashion photography class. It was so small. It was only 3 of us. And that class was so fun because we got to do so many different like activities and go see dark rooms and then take pictures of our classmates and be in the studio. So honestly, I think that one was just the best time, and I really got to learn a lot about like taking pictures, and I can now apply that to like my job now where I'm an intern. Sometimes I'll take the camera to events and use it. So it's really helpful.
I think my favorite class was English because Blanca, the professor, is amazing. I love her so much. She's one of the coolest professors that I've ever had. And yeah, I think all of the classes were really cool because it was very interesting to like see like different teaching styles versus like the US. It was like very different, and it did take like a little bit of time to get used to, but it was really cool.
Thank you. I guess this is a good question to ask all 3 of you. So Noah, do you have a favorite part of the GLM program?
Yeah, I guess class-wise, I'd probably have to go with PRT 359. And I'm just saying that because one of the, I guess, excursions that my group took, it was a tour of the Tottenham soccer stadium. And I'm a big soccer fan, so that was really, really cool. We basically did a tour of that. It lasted all day, and then we had to do a presentation on it. So that was pretty cool. But also the MIE 430, the teamwork and organizations, that was what we did when we were in Reutlingen, Germany, which is a small town in Germany. But we took that alongside German master students. So they were in the class with us from 9 to 5 every day. So we became a really close-knit group. So then that led to us going to carnivals on the weekends, and then also going to karaoke nights and stuff. So those were probably my 2 favorite.
Thank you. maybe just to go back to the optional activities, if you could talk about those a bit, if you attended the cooking classes, or I know Noah, it's a bit different also for you, so you did something else, but if you could all three maybe talk about this a bit.
Yeah. So I love the cooking class, and sometimes I would be in the kitchen like during them, even if I wasn't participating, which was really fun. Like one time I was making biscuits like right when the cooking class started. So it was fun to like interact in a, you know, indirect way also because there was always like food left over. So it was nice, when you didn't really want to pay for your meal and you could just go to the kitchen after they cooked and get some. And also we went to the Nutcracker, which I thought was really good, and I was glad that we got, like, a second option because our Nutcracker was, like, originally canceled, so it was nice that we actually got to go even if it wasn't the original plan.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the cooking classes. They were awesome. I was only able to attend like a couple of them because a lot of them like I had like scheduling conflicts with. So I was very sad about missing out on them. But I would say like get involved in like as many of the optional activities as you can because it will just like enhance your entire excuse me, it'll just enhance your entire experience. And it's just like, even though it's like optional, it's still like super fun. And there'll also be like kind of not like last minute, but very like, um like spontaneous like trips. Martina took us to Terzin, which was one of the like historical sites outside of Prague. And it was just really, really cool. It was just like a day trip. So we just spent like all day like learning about the history of it. And yeah, it was really cool. Just get involved in any way you can.
Yeah, and I guess one of my favorite trips, I guess this one wasn't optional, but it was I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks into the program, everybody, the classic students and the GLM students take a trip to Český Krumlov, which is like I would say a small village, maybe 2 or 3 hours away from Prague. And it's just beautiful. It really was. And I think that was the turning point in the program where like everybody kind of really started to get more well connected and become better friends with each other. Also, it snowed when I was there, so it was perfect. We had like a day-long hike and stuff planned, and we were, we I think we took a tour of like a church or something, and somebody just threw a snowball at somebody else, and next thing I knew, there was just like a 60-person snowball fight, and all plans were canceled from there on out because we were just having a good time in that moment. But yeah, so that was something that I probably won't ever forget.
Yeah, I guess the snowball fight was one of the highlights of Český Krumlov this semester. Our next question would be, why did you actually choose to study abroad in Prague? And was there anything that surprised you, perhaps? Tyra, if you could start again.
So I chose to study abroad in Prague specifically because I knew I was going to be with other NC State students. I was a little bit scared to like go to a country where I wasn't going to know anyone. And so this program in particular made me comfortable because I knew, I was going to be with like other people who were in the same boat as me and not really anyone, who was living in the Czech Republic before, which also was nice. Like that we had RAs who had lived in the Czech Republic, and getting to know them and they could, take us around and show us places. But it was really about just being with other people who were in the same situation. And what was your other question again?
If there was something that surprised you, perhaps?
Yeah. So I think the thing that surprised me was, I guess, like how this is off topic, I guess, kind of, but how Czech people don't talk to you at the grocery store. That was one thing that I think I struggled with the most because I'm super talkative and obviously I'm from the South. And so every time I would go to the grocery store, there was like this little 24-hour market next to Bogitska, and there was this girl that worked there. And I would try to talk to her every day, and she was very like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you trying to talk to me?" It was so funny. But I think that and the public transportation and just how like accessible everything is in comparison to Raleigh was really surprising.
So I am actually a transfer student. So I transferred from ECU at the start of my junior year. And when COVID happened, I was actually supposed to go on a study abroad trip like that summer. And it got canceled, obviously, because like world travel was just like completely shut down. So when I transferred, I was very adamant on studying abroad in any capacity, like whatever program I could do. So I did a lot of research, and I chose NC State Prague kind of for the same reason that Tyra did, because it was like it felt like the least like scary experience, because you'll like be with all NC State students, and there's going to be like an actual like building that you go to with all your classes instead of having to like go all around the city. That would have been very stressful. I don't think I would have been able to handle that. But yeah, I agree about the public transportation. It was I went into it thinking that it was going to be very hard to navigate, but it's actually super easy. And once you like kind of go around the city more and kind of like get familiar with different like tram and metro stops, like it's so easy because you can just kind of, you know, like map it out in your head and be like, okay, if I want to go to like this place, I can get on the tram and like that kind of thing. I am partial to the metro because that was like the closest transportation stop to Belgitska. But yeah, everything was super accessible and actually very easy. So I would say if you're like me and you were like very stressed about like having to figure out public transport anywhere, I would say don't worry about it because it's literally so easy.
Thank you. Is there anything you would like to add, Noah? Why did you choose Prague? Are you happy with your choice? What surprised you?
Yeah. Again, I mean, my program was a little bit different because I did spend 2 weeks in Germany and 2 weeks in the UK. But still, I think probably half the time was spent in Prague. But why specifically Prague? It did seem, after going everywhere that I did, it did seem to have a little bit more of a foreign feel than some of the other countries. I think the language had a good amount to do with that. You know, if you're in, English is obviously English, but if you're talking to somebody who's speaking German, you can maybe kind of figure some stuff out. There's not really a whole lot of overlapping with the Czech language. So that, and also the architecture, it just gave everything a little bit more of a foreign feel to me. Something that surprised me, and I mean this in the best way possible. Sometimes Czech people might come off as a little rude to Americans, because like as Tyra was saying, they're a little bit more reserved and not as outgoing, I would say. So, it was pretty common for me to be, out at a restaurant too or something, and I'm speaking with the waiter, like, oh, does this dish come with this and this, or could you hold this? And that's not really as big of a thing there. So you might get like a little like, oh, who's this American talking about? Or if they're bringing beers out and you don't have your like coasters out, you get like a little bit of attitude there. But I think that's just because I think some people are like a little bit fed up with the tourists. But with that being said, I never felt threatened or anything. It's just a cultural difference that you got to get over. That, and it's cold. It's kind of cold in the winter.
I have something to add. I realized very quickly how loud I am. And I used to think I was very quiet until getting to the Czech Republic, and it's literally like silent in like restaurants and like things like that. Like even in like places that have like bars and everything, it's very like quiet, and like people are kind of like contained to like their own conversations. And it became very evident that like you kind of have to like watch your volume level, because people will stare at you and they will like be like, why are you speaking so loud? Like you're literally being so obnoxious. But you know what? It's okay. It's like a learning curve. So you kind of have to like forgive yourself for like not really knowing that right away. But I will say, like, as you go along, like you become more mindful of like the like cultural differences, and like I think it makes you more like receptive to it, because it's like, you know, you kind of are like hyper aware of all of those things. Like for me, I was definitely like, I was like, oh, let me just like not speak. Like let me just, you know, talk very quietly, because I just did not want to get like perceived in a bad way. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Our last question would be if you have any recommendations or tips for prospective and future students coming to NC State Prague.
I would say yes to everything that's not irresponsible, because I feel like, you know, it's easy to say no if you're tired or you just like need a day, which is okay. But also, you know, you're only there for like 4 months. So I don't even know if it is 4 months, but you know, it's just one of those things where you want to enjoy as much as you can. So, you know, just be open to every opportunity.
Sorry, my dog wanted to say hi. But yeah, I would agree. Like, because there's a lot of stuff that like personally, like I like when I went on Instagram and I like followed like, you know, different like Prague accounts to like, you know, see like stuff that I wanted to do. After I was actually there, I kind of felt like bad because I felt like I was like missing out almost, but like it was weird because I blamed myself for like not like doing all of that stuff, but it's like, you know, you kind of have to put it in perspective and be like, I'm doing so much every single day that like it's not a huge deal breaker if like I'm not, you know, going to the like infinite like elevator or whatever. It's fine. Like don't worry about it. Like you're doing so much other stuff. So I would say don't get like bogged down in like feeling like you have to do everything just because it's there. Because a lot of the stuff that you do is like you don't even have to like pay for it, and it's like some of the most memorable experiences that you have. But I will say that there are some things that you should do, and you should go see the Prague Castle and the cathedral, because they are beautiful and amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I think I would also say like pack light. Pack light. You don't need half of the stuff that you think you do. Because honestly, having to like get my luggage from the taxi that we took from the airport to our residence was one of the most embarrassing experiences I have ever had, because it is cobblestone and it's very hard to roll your luggage across it. So pack light. And I ended up with 2 big suitcases after I took like 1 big suitcase and like a little carry-on. So you're gonna accumulate some stuff while you're there. So don't overpack a lot.
Thank you. That's very useful tip. Do you have any more, Noah, on packing or otherwise?
Yeah, I can definitely stand by the packing too much. I pack too much, and then especially with traveling to different countries, I had that problem a lot more too. So yeah, don't bring more than just like a big suitcase and a backpack. I guess another thing would be I went on this program not knowing a single other person in my program, and I really recommend that. I don't recommend you getting a bunch of your buddies from home and then just hopping on one of these programs. It's nice to not go there and already have like a little clique established. That way you get to meet everybody. So I would say that. Also bring boots and some kind of thermal rain jacket. It is cold there in the winter and it rains a lot. So do that. And then I guess also just pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Tyra mentioned that briefly, but even just something as simple as like when I went there, I always told myself, I'm not good at directions. I'm not the kind of person that is good at planning something out. And it's not until I have to get back from the cathedral or class by myself on the tram, and if I'm just sitting there telling myself, oh, I'm not good at directions, I need to ask somebody or do something, then I'm not going to be able to get back home. So that helped push me. But yeah, so I would say, yeah, those are the three things.
Thank you so much. We appreciate hearing your experience, and I'm sure this was also interesting for maybe the future applicants. We can move to the next slide.
Yep. Yeah, thanks. We'll have a chance to hear more from the students, of course, in the question and answer segment. Yeah, thanks for sharing those experiences, as Marie pointed out. So just the last few slides, y'all, on some administrative aspects. So applications. So how does this work? So when applying for NC State Prague programs, we use a system here referred to as Pack Abroad. So the application process is essentially entirely online. So it's pretty straightforward. There are some things to complete, questionnaires, things to read and sign and so forth. And so that's all done pretty much online. For some of our programs, which includes the two we're focusing in on today, Spring Classic and GLM, there is an additional advising component, which someone here in Raleigh, myself, usually runs. And so that's one additional requirement. That's all done over Zoom as well. So it doesn't require, handing physically papers or anything. On that though, as was mentioned earlier, the Classic program does have a visa requirement component to it, unlike the GLM program. And that's due to the length, duration of the stay. And so for that process, which will be covered certainly later on in the application process, that process does involve bringing some physical materials, but for applying to our programs can be done entirely online. So again, we're focusing today on spring 2024, and the relevant dates to be mindful of in terms of applying are April 15th and September 15th. So that's 11 days away. We will open the applications up for our spring 2024 programs. Then they'll be basically open for 5 months. So you'll have until September 15th to apply. That's the latest deadline. Having said that, we do, of course, encourage applying earlier in case we do sometimes review on a rolling basis. And if we do have a situation where we have to, we have more demand than supply, then we will often use the time of submission to factor in our decisions. So that's, but basically you have until September 15th to apply. So a long period of time for that. Again, that's all done online, but with online systems, as you probably know, there's sometimes technical issues, access problems, questions about what does this mean, so forth. That's where I come in. A big part of my role is to support that process and answer any of those questions. And so certainly as you're applying, please don't be shy about reaching out to me or to someone here to help you get through those things if needed. Okay, so we're here to support that process is the point. Now, second thing here, you'll see in the slide, there's a mention of scholarships. So in general, study abroad, you can fund your program in a variety of ways. There's financial aid, there's generally speaking scholarships, both external and internal. And by internal, that's what we're focusing on here with this information. NC State has its own set of study abroad scholarships, okay? There is a process, a separate application process for that, which is run by our partner unit, the Study Abroad Office. You can basically access information about that process as well eventually as the application through the link there at the bottom. And so we're talking here about specifically NC State Study Abroad scholarships, which I would certainly encourage everyone to apply for. These aren't scholarships that will necessarily cover the full program costs, they won't. But they're generally awarded in a volume basis, meaning they try to get a lot of students some kind of award. So certainly it will help. So, and it's not an arduous process. You don't have to pay an application fee. So certainly definitely apply for the NC State scholarships if you're interested in that. Okay, so that's just what we want to highlight with the application process. To apply, so how do I do this? Where do I go? It's pretty simple. The easiest way to do that is just go to our website, and you can see the link there in step 1. When you go to our website, you'll see our programs, a program page. Just go there and you'll see all of our programs and the ones we are mentioning here today. Pick your program, and on the web page, we have a web page for each program. You'll see a little button that says apply now, a red button, you can't miss it. Okay, and that's all you have to do. Just click that and it'll send you directly to this Packard Broad system I mentioned, and it'll just walk you through the steps of applying. So there'll be a list of things to do, and you'll get started that way. So really easy. Go to the website, find your program, click the red apply button, and then you submit it all online. Again, for spring programs, that will be available as soon as April 15th. Okay, so I mentioned the website. We definitely want to encourage you to visit that. A lot of the things that you saw today, talking about the center, about Prague, you can find more information about through that website, including pictures, as Kim talked about earlier, the courses, the course catalog, a whole wealth of info. Definitely, we would encourage you to go and frequent that site. You can also follow us on social media. We do have a presence there, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can see videos posted by students, participants as well. And so you can really get a good sense of the on-site facilities through that means as well. Okay, y'all, that is sort of the conclusion of our portion, our presentation portion. We want to give you a chance, as I mentioned, to ask us questions. And by us, that could be staff, and as well as our alumni who are still on this call. So please, if you want to unmute yourself, ask any questions. You can also submit that via the chat if you feel more comfortable that way. And so this is now your turn. Don't be shy. Any questions at all about about some of the things our students talked about, or anything that you want to hear about, the process, costs, anything you're curious about? Feel free to.
I have just a quick question.
Yeah,
you might have
please.
said this at the very beginning, but for the semester programs, how many students are there at one time?
Yeah, good question. So we do just an overview. We run spring, fall, and then summer programs. We don't have academic year programs, so we do have those semester programs. And to your question, we typically run 2 main programs in each semester. The classic program for the semester version will generally bring, lately it's about 40 plus students. That's what we're seeing lately, sort of what we kind of expect going forward. The GLM program, for instance, that's a smaller program for reasons, as you can probably guess. It's more logistically complex, and so it's more intense. That we have about 16, 17 that may expand, but that's generally where we have had it lately. And so we're looking at about 60, I guess 70 is the bottom line answer to your question when we include all the programs we have. So in the spring and the fall, about 60 or 70. Again, primarily NC State students, almost exclusively. We do have this program open up technically to other students, so non-NC State students. And we do occasionally have one or two UNC students slip in there. So we're happy to have them too. But yeah, this is primarily for NC State students. The summer, of course, which we did talk about, is a lot bigger, but yeah, that's for our semester programs. Okay, so we have a question in the chat next. So in terms of planning, what classes can we take in Prague? Would it be best to consult the website, an academic advisor, or a study abroad advisor? Okay, very good question. So for terms of classes, I would definitely refer you to the links in this slide. Go to our website. We do have a course catalog, and you can see on our program page too the specific classes we plan to offer for that particular cycle. Now, these classes will generally be, as Kim mentioned, they'll be sort of GEP type classes. So they're designed to fulfill some sort of, kind of basic GEP category class. So that way we sort of have things that a lot of students from different degree programs could find useful. We do have some, a few upper level design specific courses, and that's just because we historically had a lot of design students, but by and large, you'll see a lot of GEP type courses. Now, to your question specifically, what I would do is use that to consult, check out what we have available, but then you still want to consult your specific academic advisors once you've kind of thought it through and you want to kind of see how that works within your degree plan and your progress. So definitely you want to still utilize those academic advisors to discuss your plans. We ourselves are not those, we're not academic advisors. So that still needs to be done just like any other semester here at NC State. We are sort of more study abroad advisors, and then we can sort of answer questions more about program and big picture stuff like that. So there's a second part to the question. Good one here. So does submitting an application earlier increase the chance of being part of the program? Okay, so I'll just kind of say, and maybe Kim has some insight here too, but I'll just say kind of yes and no. We do, as I mentioned, sometimes review these applications on a rolling basis. Everyone who submitted an application by the deadline will be reviewed. So in that sense, everyone has a fair shake. But as I also mentioned, in the event that we have maybe more applications, more applicants than we can take based on, limitations, space limitations, et cetera, we may use the time of application submission as one factor among others to make our decisions. And we've done that before. Some of our programs, like maybe GLM and another one we didn't talk about today, they have smaller kind of caps enrollments. And so sometimes we do have to make those choices, those decisions. So my bottom line answer would be, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So I would encourage you, if you can get it in earlier, just to do so.
And then also the earlier you get it in, then you get access to registering to classes earlier. So like, getting it in earlier, can guarantee you that you'll get the classes that you want.
Yeah, exactly. And then Emma, thanks, Emma, answered in the chat with respect to the courses. So I'll just read it out for anyone who's maybe on the recording or is not looking at the chat. So Emma answers, I would say definitely have a plan of what you want to take from the catalog of classes provided, but you'll have an advising meeting before the semester starts. And so, yeah, so we'll have an advising meeting with someone here to talk about the program. And also you'll have an advising meeting, of course, with your academic advisors like any other semester. So cool. Yeah, great questions, y'all. Thanks for those. Any others?
I had a question about if there are specific classes that you need in order to graduate, if you have not filled those requirements and they don't have those classes abroad, are there many students that take classes online, or are there a lot of classes available that fill requirements there?
Yeah, so if you have classes you still need to take that are more kind of higher level, in other words, specific to your particular degree, you may have a tougher time finding those at Prague, because again, we do offer just more general type classes, things GEPs you need to knock out typically first, second, third year. We may be able to help find some other courses through, as mentioned in this presentation, our partner Charles University. It's possible, but not always a guarantee. As far as distance ed courses go, yeah, it's not uncommon for students to maybe supplement what they're taking in Prague with one distance ed course, an online course through NC State. One point about that, we do try to limit. We say you shouldn't take more than one DE course, because you'll also have your course load in Prague, but also in terms of costs, that's a separate charge. And so you would still be expected to pay the program costs. And then if you do elect to take any DE courses, you would just have to take care of that cost on your own, because it's a whole separate thing. So, but yeah, so students they do supplement with a DE course if they find something, but in general, again, those higher level degree specific courses, you'll have a tougher time. You won't really find as many of those on offer from us in Prague, because we're geared more to the general. Unless you're a design student or that's, again, as I mentioned, we have higher level studios for that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, because I am a design student. Okay. So some of my more specific classes are design related. So that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so certainly we do have some, 400 level, some studio courses, and so you'll see that in our catalog too, and you can start kind of planning that out. And yeah, sometimes you may find something that isn't like a one-to-one match, and so you may want to, in those cases, talk to your academic advisors, and they may be able to count for something you need and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, for design students, it's a little easier in that sense. Any others? Any questions for our students? Remember, they were there very recently, in all cases, so they're just fresh off from a few weeks ago or just last semester, so they can answer a lot of things that maybe we can't.
We're not scary, I swear.
Well,
Well, if you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to us on our NC State Prague general email account, and we all monitor that so we can answer you if you have any questions that come up later.
And I'm going to put in the chat here our general account. And yep. All right. So last call for questions. If that's it, we can just get you guys out of here early. And we want to thank you all for attending. And we will, again, we're going to share this recording out to everyone who registered, so you can use this to look back at and share if you need to. But we want to thank you for your time. And again, reach out to us if you have any questions going forward. Hope to see you in the future.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks.